So we've seen how JSON encode and URL encode can be used with get method in order to add parameters to an anchor tag. But what if we want to pass these parameters using a form? Well, why would we want to do that? Well, let's take a look at this URL here. This is big and long and scary. And imagine that it was 65K or a megabyte of data. You would not want to pass all of that in the URL. So what can we do instead? Well, the key to post is you have to have a form. And we have a form up here. So let's use this form, except that instead of having an input text box, we're going to have a hidden input. And we're going to can the value that we want to pass in that hidden input. So let's go ahead and look at our code that generates the form. And the big difference is instead of having this text box, I'm going to make the type be hidden. Use the same name, but I'm also going to specify a value. And it's going to be inside of a single quoted string. And then the value I want to provide here is going to be URL encode of JSON encode of my user, my fruits. So let's go ahead and change the method to post and reload. So now our input box has gone away, but if we look at the page source here, we see we have a form with name user input, a hidden input, and then the value is that JSON encoded, URL encoded value, and then the submit button. So let's go ahead and try it and see if it works. Whoops. So we got all the data, but it's not in the right format. Let's take a look at our handle input. Let's go ahead and see what we have before we do the decode. So it looks like we need to do the URL decode before we do the JSON decode. So let's go ahead and say URL decode and then do the JSON decode. And now it works. So we got our text back. So let's go ahead and change it back to get and see what we get. And we'll submit, and it still works. And we'll try our get method URL, and that worked as well.